We're going to touch on a few things today, some key injuries to some players in the NHL. We're also going to do a quick recap of yesterday's games, which have been Wednesday, the 28th. And then we're going to dive into the Anaheim Ducks and the game they had last night with Arizona at home at Honda Center, and some of the things that went down in that. It was a very interesting game to watch. Got pretty chippy. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, let's dive into the injuries, okay? John Tavares, we've touched on that one. That's the biggest one, I think, right now. We've touched on that one in a previous video. He's got an oblique injury, 3 to 4 weeks, probably at least the first 4 or 5 games he's going to miss. So that's a tough one for the Leafs and Leafs fans, but hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery and get back on the ice. Some other ones, Vancouver. Vancouver's got a couple. Ilya Mikheyev. He's got a lower body injury, and Brock Boeser, he's also got a hand injury where he actually had hand surgery already. I think it was on Monday. He's going to be out about 3 to 4 weeks. That's what they're anticipating. So we'll see what happens there. But getting a hand injury and surgery is pretty quick turnaround to be back on the ice within a month playing hockey. So we'll see. Flyers, Sean Coutier. He's also injured. He's got a week-to-week upper body injury, so hopefully that won't be too bad for them. And then that's pretty much it. There are a few others out there. Those are the most notable ones, so I just wanted to touch on those. Let's just jump into yesterday's scores. I did watch a few games. Specifically, I watched the Ducks and Arizona game, but some quick scores recap. 4-0 Flames over the Oilers. This was a big game, guys. Again, it's just preseason, but Nazem Kadri made his debut, and he had an assist in the game. Weegar and Huberdeau, part of that big Tkachuk, Calgary, Florida trade. Weegar and Huberdeau came to the Flames, as we all know. They had each one of those guys had a goal. Huberdeau and Weegar both scored a goal in that game. So I have a feeling that trade is going to benefit the Calgary Flames more than it did the Florida Panthers. Losing Weegar and Huberdeau, that's a big deal. And I think the Flames, and then they go ahead and add Kadri as well in the offseason. So the Flames are a better team. They did lose Johnny Hockey, and they lost Tkachuk, but they added 3 very good players as well. So I kind of think that they improved overall. So Flames are going to be looking really good this year. Some other scores: Vegas over the Avs, 7-1. Something to talk about on that one. Alexander Georgiev. The Avs went out and got him from New York to replace Darcy Kemper, who ended up going to Washington. So the funny thing about this is the Avs here, they won the cup with Kemper. They go out and get Georgiev. They want this guy to be the number 1. Frankie Francouz, quite honestly, I think he might win that number 1 spot. Georgiev let in like 6 goals last night, I think it was. Either way, it was 6 goals on 18 shots is what it was. Not good. Now, again, this is preseason, so let's not jump to conclusions and start and throw the guy into the bus. But I have a feeling that even though he's a good goaltender, there's going to be a real competition there between their 2 goalies. And Francouz might come out on top on that one in the Avs. We'll have to see. We'll see what happens there. The Leafs beat the Canadiens 3-0. Blanked those guys. Interesting enough with the Leafs. I think they have one of the best goalie tandems right now in the NHL. They went out and got Matt Murray from Ottawa. And they also got Samsonov. So those are 2 very good goalies. They make a good tandem as, number 1 and number 2. It's almost like a couple of number 1s. And those are the types of things you kind of want to see, especially if you want to make a deep run into the playoffs. Leafs obviously are looking to improve upon their playoff woes, if you will. And I think having this goalie tandem, if they play well and they stay healthy, and then of course the other players as well stay healthy, but that goalie tandem staying healthy, I think is going to allow the Leafs to make a deeper run this year. So that's my prediction, at least. It's going to be goaltending for the Leafs this year. We know they have the offense. Goaltending. Okay, watch that stuff. Some other scores: Caps over the Flyers 3-1. Dylan Strome had a couple of goals in that game for the Caps. The Jackets over the Sabres. Columbus Blue Jackets over the Buffalo Sabres. Voracek had his second goal of the preseason for the Columbus Blue Jackets in that one. And then the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-2. And then one I like to see, kind of, sort of, Sharks over the Kings 3-1. Always like watching the Kings lose. Sorry, Kings fans. But 3-1 over the Kings. And that game was played actually out at the Ontario Reign Arena, I believe, out in the Inland Empire in Southern California. I am from there, so I know that area and I know where that is, but pretty cool to see that. The Kings had an interesting jersey. Instead of it saying LA, it said IE, which is Inland Empire. But anyways, long story short, there's your wrap up on that. Now, I want to talk about the Ducks and Coyotes game. Not only the score and some of that, but just the game overall. It was quite interesting. So let's dive into that. All right, so let's get into the Ducks and the Coyotes. So we'll start off by just saying that the Ducks won the game 3-1. Okay, it was actually a really good game offensively. I was really, really happy to see Ryan Strome getting out there for the first time. Frank Vatrano out there playing. Adam Henrique was out there. Olin Zellweger, he's played 3 games in a row, all 3 preseason games. Olin Zellweger has been on the ice. He looked especially impressive last night. He had a great assist on Ryan Strome's goal. I think it was the second goal of the game. Man, he had a slap pass right to Strome, right in front of the net, deflected it in. It was beautiful. So nice to see Zellweger doing what he does. Will he make the team this year? It's yet to be seen. I'm going to go out there and say probably not. They're probably going to stick him back on his minor league team, let him develop, get bigger, get stronger. We might see him a little bit in the season throughout the year, but I have a feeling that's what they're going to, kind of like what they did with Mason McTavish last year. But Zellweger looked amazing. And like I said, Ryan Strome, Frank Vatrano, love those guys. I liked what I saw last night. And Troy Terry. Troy Terry looked really good. He looked like his last year self, if you will, doing some dangles. He's great with the puck. He's got some slick hands. And so I'm hoping to see, if not the same amount of goals from Troy Terry this year, an improvement. That would be huge for them. But the biggest thing I think that, and we'll talk about some other goal. Pavel Regenda, second goal of preseason for the Ducks. He had the first goal of that game. He's looking good. I like this guy. He's a big guy. He can skate pretty well. Got a couple goals already. So he's making a case. He's trying to push to make this team. Lundestrom, always loved Lundestrom. He scored a goal as well. So Regenda, Lundestrom, Ryan Strome were their goal scorers for the Ducks. Chemistry is looking good. I can see it starting to develop out there. There was a lot of chemistry between Strome and Terry. They were on the same line together. I liked it, and the Regenda. So, long story short, Ducks are looking good, getting some chemistry, starting to put the pucks in the net. Lucas Dostal started again in net for the Ducks, and he looked really good. He had a lot of saves. I think he had, no, I don't have that stat, but he only allowed 1 goal. And he looked really good. I liked what I saw from Lucas Dostal. So here's the big news from that game, okay? Trevor Zegras. There was an open ice hit. A guy named Jan Jenik came across as he had the puck kind of close to the boards. Jenik lined him up and hit him good. There was no penalty on the play, but it was a tough hit. As we all know, he's not the biggest of guys. He's slick and he's slippery, but he's not a big guy, and he took it pretty hard. It almost looked like maybe a shoulder injury. He got hit pretty hard on the shoulder area, upper body for sure, but he fell to the ice quickly, obviously in a lot of pain right off the get-go. He did get off the ice on his own power, but he didn't return. So I haven't heard anything yet on his condition, what they expect or what they found and that kind of thing, the timeline on getting back on the ice. I know they're going to want to protect him and not throw him back out there too soon. But man, when Zegras is one of your top guys, that's the last thing you want to see in the preseason. But Adam Henrique came to his defense, jumped on Jenik's back, and said, "Let's go, buddy." And Adam Henrique defended dropped the gloves, and he had a fighting major. He also had 10-minute misconduct and an instigating penalty as well, which I thought was a little excessive, but either way, I don't know if the NHL is trying to crack down more on those types of fights where players are going after other players, even though they weren't involved. That could be something that they're going to be putting more emphasis on this year. But I like to see Adam Henrique. I like him as a player in general. He always is a really good contributor as long as he can stay healthy. And to see him step up and kind of do something that Ryan Getzlaf would have done for us in years previous years. Ryan Getzlaf was always a good captain in the sense that he wouldn't let that kind of stuff slide, and he would get on you and he'd tell you how he felt. Adam Henrique did that last night, so that was really good to see. Interestingly enough, after that whole incident, the Coyotes and the Ducks just did not have anything nice to do on the ice, nothing nice to say. It started getting really chippy out there. So lots of fights, lots of scrums, and things like that ensued for the entire rest of the game. I think at that point it was 1-1. But either way, Ducks ended up winning that game and they looked really good, but it was really chippy out there. And it was almost like, Arizona used to be in the Pacific Division before they went to the Central Division. So there's a lot of history between the Coyotes and the Ducks, and rivalry-wise, don't know if that had something to do with it or if it was just strictly that hit on Z that put him out of the game that just got everybody riled up. And so that pretty much wraps it up for today. We'll see how the Zegras thing goes. I'll keep you guys abreast of that. And then we'll keep the preseason rolling. The regular season's right around the corner, everybody. October starts in a few days. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. So, hey, don't forget to subscribe. Like the video if you can as well. Leave me comments. Please give me comments on what you think. Maybe you don't agree with me. Whatever you want to comment down below. My email is also duckshockeyandmore@gmail. So duckshockeyandmore@gmail. Email me if you need to as well. And then we'll see you next time, guys.